The cookie cutters in the back, we have DSCN0338OMNI signs, so you should check out those. And also the fair trade products, there's chocolate and coffee, so those support the Omni Youth programs. So if you need to get some chocolate or coffee or cookie cutters. So we're going to be doing our summer program again, and we have a high school program getting started, and it's all really exciting because we have some great youth in the community that are involved with Omni. But right now we do lack programs for children 15 and under, so to get those programs going, we would really need more volunteer participation. So if anybody's interested in starting some youth programming for littler kids or younger children, talk to us, because we'd love to have you get involved and get something going with us. Thank you. All right, so next we have Omni UA, and as you heard from Olivia earlier, they're having an event, and in case you didn't get that written down earlier, they're doing an event called Natural Arkansas. I think it's not just natural energy, but anyways, it's about a clean energy legislation that's currently in Arkansas right now. We have a chance to pass stuff that will help get clean energy in Arkansas. I mean, we complain about fracking, we complain about tar sands, we complain about all these things. And the way to make that stuff go away is to get other options. So if you want to hear about all the cool options we have to take that stuff out of the way, if we have options, you can compare it and go, wow, that fracking stuff is just a really bad idea. So we can get there once we have options. So if you want to hear more about that, come join Omni UA. It's going to be in the JV Hunt Room 216, and it's going to be from 6 o'clock to 7:30, and we'll have snacks. and that's going to happen on February 13th, so if you want, you can write that down. Also on March 4th, we're still in the process of planning this, so we don't have the place yet or the time, but the tar sands blockaders in Oklahoma, as some of you saw, came to Omni not too long ago and gave a fantastic presentation about tar sands and all that stuff, and it's terrible. They're going to do that same presentation at the U of A, so students can hear about that. And then they're also going to invite all the students to an event they're having in Oklahoma. So if you want to see that, definitely just stay posted, and we'll keep you posted, I guess. Same for that, and we'll definitely keep you updated on how all that stuff. And then sometime in April, the Omni UA is planning on sponsoring a civil rights roundtable, getting a bunch of people together and breaking racial stereotypes and cultural stereotypes, hearing about injustices, and also finding solutions. So if you want to see issues and solutions in the same room, this is such an awesome event. And once again, we're in the process of planning it, so I will tell you about that once we figure it out. And then next, we have something fantastic. We're in the process of getting together an Omni FHS club. And yeah, they actually had their first event just a few days ago, and Jacob George is fantastic, came and actually concert for us. Yeah, it was awesome, and we had a cooking lesson. We made gourmet grilled cheese sandwiches, totally blew ham and cheese out of the water, and then oven roasted potatoes. It was amazing. And but yeah, that was really exciting, and it's the very beginning, so I'm really excited to see what happens. They decided to meet every second and fourth Thursday during lunch. And the whole thing is, like, we let them decide what they want to hear. Like, Omni is such a big umbrella. There's so many opportunities. What do you want to do? And they were like, we want to hear speakers. And some of the subjects that they were interested in was learning about cultures, religions, community radio, farmers, artists, photographers. The list kept going on. So if anyone in the crowd would love to come speak to Fayetteville High School, definitely come let me know. And also back there in the corner, there's a clipboard that has youth on it, and you can definitely write your name down and put in parentheses like, I would love to talk about this topic, and that would be fantastic. Also, they're wanting to have cooking lessons and have your own potlucks if you'd like to cook or help teach a cooking class for Fayetteville High School, maybe at the Omni Center sometime. That's exciting. And they're also wanting to volunteer at Tricycle. Okay, this is kind of a masterpiece in the making, I'm hoping. But we're currently planning the summer program. And last year, Michelle Murphy did a fantastic job. Got a bunch of kids together, and it was wonderful. They harvested blueberries and made products, and they just had so much fun. Went and visited farms. And this year, we're kind of going along that track, but kind of with a different product. So this year, we're going to focus on herbs and teaching them about these things they call weeds. Aren't really weeds. They're awesome. They're edible, and there's things that you can do with them. And also making products out of them, like what all can you do with these? And also sustainability. We're going to focus on brown paper sacks. Like, they exist. How, like, is there stuff that we can make out of this? Apparently you can make baskets out of them, which is kind of crazy. And also realizing that the option of paper versus plastic is just ridiculous. That's a stupid option. We should have better options that are more renewable. So hopefully, if we can, we want to be able to make our own bags, which is hopefully something that happens. But yeah, those are just some of the many, very brief summary of just amazing things that OMNI Youth is up to, and just so excited to see what comes of this year. So,
thank you. Excellent job, you guys. By the way, you know, when you do leave here tonight, you might consider getting some coffee or some chocolate back there. No, from the fair trade. I heard there was no coffee. I got that. But, so, you know, and we have one more presentation. By the way, the last thing we're going to do after this is you are going to have an opportunity to relive your youth. We're going to have a virtual flashback. Right? Okay. That's all I'm going to say for now. It's going to get strange in here before it's over. But we do have one more brief presentation, and that's going to be having to do with a new concept we have. I need Gladys, Jacob, and Fernando to come up. Good? Or Gladys? Yeah. To tell you about a new project we are just undertaking.
So I'll start. Well, the guys are getting here. So the two things that really brought the dialogue dinners to mind are that the country was getting so polarized, and the yelling across the disagreement lines was so intense that it seemed like we really needed a bunch of tools for actually having dialogue together. Then the Occupy movement happened last year, and we watched in our area, and in fact all over the country, where the Occupy groups succeeded or failed based on how well trained their facilitators teams were. And the idea that our culture needs a much stronger way to dialogue just got real clear in my mind. So as we have talked about how we really need to be a group that encourages peace, the thing that has kind of come out is that we're peace people. We are some of the peace people, and we have the option to learn ourselves how to facilitate dialogue with our families, our communities, and hopefully our nation. And on the other hand, we can learn them ourselves, because none of us actually have those tools really well in mind. So we decided we were going to do this dialogue dinner thing, and what that is supposed to look like is that there's this group of people who are going to be facilitators. We have agreed we're going to train as facilitators. And if any of you are in this room right now, would you just raise your hand so people can see that, yes, there really are people here? Because there are some people who are preparing to do this. And we're going to do this next Saturday. And we're going to take some training on how to facilitate in groups. And then we're going to set up a series of dialogue dinners. And so now, these dialogue dinners need a host, and they need somebody's house, a comfortable house. It doesn't have to be a fancy house, but a house where you don't mind having a little group of 6 to 10 people come to visit you. And the host and 2 facilitators are going to sit down together and say, what do we want to talk about this dinner? And we're going to organize a dinner so that we can practice dialogue skills with each other with the help of trained facilitators. It's going to be really cool. Now, if you are interested in joining us for the facilitator training, or if you think you might like to be a host for one of these dinners, we'd really like to have your names. And back there at the table where Robin is sitting, there's a clipboard that has dialogue dinners on it, and we'd love to have your name on it. So I want you to think about the dinners. Then there's just a couple of things, and we can be brief, I promise. But each one of us has a little bit of something that you need to know about this process.
As Glenn said, we like to invite people to host and facilitate these dinners. And something that we would like to include, something that we feel is very important, is have diversity in the groups. And by diversity in everything, diversity in faith, diversity in race, diversity in ideas and issues that we're going to be talking about. Well, the theme is going to be occupied, but we would like to have a variety and diverse input from different parts of the community, so we can meet, talk over the issues, to discuss them, and through there start the dialogue and to create a better community.
So this project is a pro-conflict project. Pro-conflict. Can't run from it. We got to own it. And we were drawing heavily from Kingian nonviolence principles in order to do this training. Martin Luther King Jr. was very clear about how important it is that we own our conflict. We can't spend too much time, although we need to envision a peaceful world, because this conflict's always going to exist. And if we don't own it, if we don't confront it, if we run from it, we're denying ourselves the opportunity for transformation, internally and externally. And this model breaks down pretty easily like this. We have two ideas, or anything basically, that come together, right? That is a moment in time where we have conflict. Sometimes they have a hard time listening to each other. Sometimes it turns into rhetoric. Sometimes it turns into violence. Ultimately, it can turn into war until one idea thinks it needs to kill the other idea before it listens to it. We don't want it to go that far. So we have to acknowledge that conflict is there. So these principles revolve around seeing that conflict the second that it happens and understanding that's a unique point in time where we can cause a transformation. These ideas are going to come together, but with skilled people and people working through the heart, not so much through the mind, we can make these things come together, and then we have a new idea. So, if you want to learn how to do that, come train with us.
Woo!
Thank you. Well, thank you so much for sticking with us. We have so much we want to tell you, and this annual membership meeting is an opportunity for all of us to, kind of get on the same page. And as you can see, it's like a three-ring circus, and there's so much to talk about. We're just kind of skimming the surface. But I want to thank the Little Bread Company for supplying the bread, Ozark Natural Foods for supplying the salad and some of the other ingredients, and also Arcegas for supplying the coffee. We really do appreciate the help from the community. And then last but not least, all the lasagna makers. Can y'all stand up, you guys? All the lasagna cookie makers, including my mother. So, this is where it gets strange, okay? You might notice that in your hands is a copy of Stairway to Heaven.
And you all have to sing along.
And you all know this song. And remember, the theme is heaven tonight. And so we thought it would be an interesting way to finish the evening with an entire rendition of all verses of Stairway to Heaven, but with a sing-along. We're not kidding. I think we're kidding. We're not kidding here. This is going to be fun. I kind of thought, what I was thinking when I came up with this idea was one time I went to a Messiah sing-along, for the... And everybody would have the lyrics, and we all just belted it out, and it was just crazy. And so we thought, well, let's have a Led Zeppelin sing-along. Stairway to Heaven.
And thank you all so much for coming out and being part of this tonight. We so appreciate it.
Yeah, let's have a hand for everybody here. Thank you. This is going to be just like the record, right? We don't want anybody to screw it up. There you go. Are you ready? Anything else need to be said before we move on? Okay, stop. Here we go. Leaping into it. There's a lady who shook all the glitters gold, and she's flying stairway to heaven. When she gets there, she knows if the doors are all closed, with the words in their voice, and she's flying the stairway to heaven. There's a sign on the wall that she wants to be sure, 'cause you know sometimes words have two meanings. In a tree by the brook, there's a songbird sings. Sometimes all our thoughts are misheard. amazing. Thanks, Kelly and Donna. That was a lot of fun. Thank you for coming to the Omni annual meeting. We really appreciate you being here and sharing this time with us. I just wanted to say for one last time, if we really want to get that little piece of heaven on earth, then please give, please share. There's so many things going on with this organization, so you have a lot of choices. You know, it's amazing what these folks are doing, and we're all doing it together, so we're working for one another. Thank you. Good night, everybody. Thank you one last time.